Hello beautiful people of YouTube, thank you very much for checking out my video and thank you very much for checking out my channel in general. Welcome back to Bushcraft, or if this is your first time here, welcome to Bushcraft, the Learning Bushcraft channel. Today is actually kind of carry on in that vein. I'm going to try something that I've never done before and learn a new skill, which is to make Summer Bannock bread. So this particular bread was really popular, or at least made a lot, during the fur trades, so with the fur runner trade. So if anyone's ever seen the show Frontier with Jason Momoa, it's really good by the way, if you haven't, go check it out. But it's that kind of era, it's the Hudson Bay Company, and this would be a traditional bread that the guys running the furs would make in order to keep themselves sustained. So it's a really simple recipe. I've got it from my Ray Mears book, so I'm going to have a go at making it today. The method doesn't look too complicated, so I'm hoping it shouldn't be beyond my capabilities. So we're going to have a go. So hopefully you guys enjoy watching this. Hopefully you feel inspired and maybe want to have a go at making this yourself. It should be, as I say, it should be quite tasty. Oh, by the way, if anybody has watched my last video and has noticed that I'm wearing exactly the same clothes, it's not because I'm a smelly, unclean person and I keep wearing the same clothes over and over and over again. It's actually because I'm attempting to shoot 3 videos in the same day. So that's why. So don't judge me. Anyway, let's crack on. Summer Bannock bread should be good. We're going to be making a Summer Bannock bread. There's actually various different recipes for other bread types in the book itself, which I think at some point I'm going to try and make all of them. Maybe I'll make like a longer video where I try and make 3 or 4 different kinds of bread. But for this one I'm just going to stick with the Summer Bannock. So yeah, it seems really simple, as I said. We'll have a look at the ingredients and the method. I'll put them up on the screen if I remember to do it with what you need. So we need 2 cups of, or 500 mils of plain flour, which I have here. We need, well, the book actually says, 1 cup of powdered milk, but it does say it's optional. Now I don't happen to have any powdered milk in the house, so I'm not going to use it. Well, we'll just see what happens. We need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of sugar, which I happen to have here. I've actually mixed them all up already, just so you know. One of the first bits of the method is to mix together the dry ingredients, aerating the flour and stuff like that, so I don't think it's going to make a huge difference that I've already put the baking powder, salt and sugar together. The only other things we need are some water, which I have here, and I've actually brought a second bottle just on the off chance. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need, but there we go. So got enough water, and then it says actually some dried fruit or fresh berries would be nice, so I have brought some sultanas and raisins with me, so we'll put those in it. See what that tastes like, hopefully it'll be quite good. And then we need oil or lard for cooking, which I also have here. So you can see just from that the ingredients themselves are not overly complicated. There's not a lot of them. The method is very, very simple as well. So we'll just have a go. Before we get to doing any of the mixing and stuff like that, we of course need to get a fire going, because this does involve cooking on the fire. So we'll crack on with that. Today I'm using my Hidden Woodsman Forest Rock, which is absolutely an amazing piece of kit. Anybody doesn't have one and likes camping and likes this sort of thing, this is the pack to get, it's great. But in there I have a cook set that I'm going to use to make my bread. Okay, got my mixing bowl, so let's go. All of my ingredients. Okay, mix together, step 1. So if you guys remember, I've got flour, I've got baking powder, salt and sugar in there, I've got some sultanas in there, I've got some water, and I've got some oil to cook it in at the end as well. So the first thing I need to do, I'll mix together the dry ingredients except for the fruit, which means the flour goes in. Bay leaf in there. I'm actually going to save a little bit of flour, so I'm not going to put all of it in, because as I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it, I'm shooting more than one video right now, and I need a little bit of flour for something else, so I'm going to save that. Hopefully, hopefully that's enough. Hopefully I'm saving enough. Hopefully as well that it won't affect this too much, but I don't think it will. Okay, so aerate the flour. So just get in there. Cool. Nice. Okay, add the baking powder, salt and sugar. So all of that's going in there. So if you remember, I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon, am I saying teaspoon the entire time? Entire time teaspoons, 1 teaspoon of sugar, which I'll put in. So we're mixing all of those up. Be sure to loosen up the flour and stir in plenty of air with a spoon. Well, I don't have a spoon, I've only got my hands. Oh no, that's not true, I do have a spoon. I've got my little metal spoon. I'll grab that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Where was I? Mix them up. Okay, and then we add the water gradually, mixing it in with my fingertips until I have a soft but not sticky dough. I may not need all of the water, I don't know what that means because you haven't told me how much water to have, but whatever. So add it a little at a time. If the mixture is too wet, add a little extra flour. Well, that's going to be tough because I don't have a lot of extra flour, but whatever. Okay. So we'll add a little bit of water at a time and mix it in, I guess. Really leave the lid off the water, shouldn't I? I've probably gotten that a little bit too wet now. Probably need a little bit more flour. Damn. Hopefully I've still got enough. I feel like mine's a bit too sticky. There we go. Yeah, mine was too dry. Too wet, sorry. The exact opposite of what I just said. Needed some more flour. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I now have a soft but not sticky dough mix, which is good. Now I need to fold in the dry fruit or pickled berries if available, picked berries, not pickled, picked berries. But as I said earlier, I have brought some raisins and sultanas with me, so I will add those in. Just clean this off my fingers a bit, and I'm going to try and change the camera angle, which with this all over my hands is probably not a good idea, but you know, we'll do it anyway, for you. It felt like a dangerous game we were playing, but we've done it. Okay, so raisins and sultanas, bam, in they go. Hopefully that's not too many. sticking to my hand now, so I like that. Okay, so our bannock bread dough is done. Boom, nailed it. What's next? Put your frying pan on the heat and add a little oil or lard. Once this is hot, add the dough, spreading it out with your knuckles until it fills the pan. It should be approximately 2 centimeters thick. All right. Okay, my oil's nice and hot, so I'm now going to carefully and gently attempt to put my bannock bread in the pan and then flatten it out with my fist so it's about 2 centimeters thick. So let's do that. I think it would be good if I could get it to fill the pan. So I'm going to try and do that, which may mean it's not quite 2 centimeters thick, but you know what? We can only do so much. Okay, I think that'll do. Now we pop it back on the low embers for a little while until it's a bit more firm, and then what we can actually do is stand it up to the side of our fire and kind of grill it that way, rotating it every now and again. So let's pop it back on the heat. Okay, now, so if I've got this right, I should now be able to stand this up the side of my fire, hopefully. Oh, smoky. Pop it just like that and allow it to cook. Put it at a little bit more of an angle. There we go. Build the fire up a little bit and allow it to grill. It's pretty cool. Let's hope it tastes alright. I don't know if I might have to flip it over, I think, and turn it around a few times, so I'll keep you updated, but there we are. Summer bannock bread being made. Nice. So I've just flipped over the bannock bread and it looks nice and brown on the bottom, so I'm just doing the other side. Apparently the best way to check whether or not it's done is to carve the bark off like a little stick, poke it into the middle, and if it comes out dry, then she's ready. So I'm excited about this. I think it looks pretty good. Danger! Danger! Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's still a tiny little bit sticky, but I'm hungry, so I'm going to call it good and eat it anyway. Right, so I'm going to get this out of the fire, I'm going to let it cool down for a second, and then we'll try it, and we will tell you what it's like. Oh, hot. Don't touch it when it comes straight off the fire. What do you think? Looks pretty good. It's nice and firm, still a bit hot. Yeah, quite impressed with that. Okay. Doesn't it burn me? No, not too bad. Alright. So, my first ever summer bannock bread. Let's give her a try. It's nice and crispy. Tell you what, that is not terrible. I mean, it's not drastically flavourful, but the putting the sultanas and raisins in certainly made a big difference. But it's nice. I can certainly see why the fur trade runners would make something like this. Feels very, what's the word? Kind of stodgy, so I reckon it would fill you up pretty quick. I would imagine it has quite a dubious nutritional value, but tastes alright, fills you up, gets the job done, it's quick and easy to make, so it's not bad at all. Try not to eat with my mouth, try not to talk even with my mouth full. I get told off for that. I think it's quite good. I'm quite impressed. I'm actually going to save the rest of this because, as I mentioned before, I'm doing more than one video, and I'm actually creating something that, cooking something else that I'm going to eat with my bannock bread because it is quite dry. I don't know if that's because I didn't quite get the mix right or because I didn't put the powdered milk in. But I imagine like something like a tin of beans or some soup or something like that would be really good with this. So that's actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. For this particular video, on today anyway. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Honestly, this is really good. It's really quick and easy to make. So next time you're out camping and you've got a fire, take some flour, salt and sugar and stuff with you. I'll make this up. It's really good. So thank you very much for watching, folks. As always, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff if you want to. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Fruity.